You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Mornings have a rhythm. You can hear it, feel it. And at Quaker, we fuel it. With 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber in every bowl, helping you turn that rhythm into your soundtrack for a great day. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
Let's go! Let's go!
I'm proud to announce that today's episode is brought to you by Gelt, which you'll hear about later on in the episode and in the show notes. If you're like most high-income professionals, you've probably been told the same investing advice your entire life. Max out your retirement accounts, buy index funds, maybe invest in a rental property or two. Stay diversified and be patient. While that's not bad advice, there's a problem. Many investors eventually reach a point where they realize they're doing everything right, saving aggressively, investing consistently, yet they still feel like they're missing something. Because the reality is that most of the investing world is focused on the same opportunities at the same time. Everyone's chasing the next AI stock. Everyone is talking about crypto. Everyone is reacting to headlines, market volatility, and whatever Wall Street is excited about this week. But what if the biggest investment opportunities aren't found by following the crowd? What if they're found by identifying real-world problems that are hiding in plain sight? In today's episode, I'm joined by David Bacon, Head of Marketing at Worthy Wealth. We explore a fascinating idea. Some of the best investment opportunities come from economic bottlenecks, places where demand is exploding, supply can't keep up, and capital isn't flowing efficiently. We discuss the rise of alternative investments, why Wall Street may be losing its role as the gatekeeper of investing, how ordinary investors are gaining access to opportunities once reserved for institutions, and why demographic shifts like the aging baby boomer generation may create opportunities that many investors are completely overlooking. More importantly, this conversation isn't really about alternative investments. It's about learning how great investors think, how they look beyond market noise, how they identify trends before they become obvious, and how they focus on fundamentals instead of hype. If you've ever wondered what comes after stocks, bonds, and traditional investing, or if you're simply looking for a better framework for finding opportunities in a rapidly changing world, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Before we begin, quick disclaimer. Nothing in this episode should be considered investment advice. Results discussed have not been independently vetted. Any claims made by the guests have not been verified. The content is for educational purposes only. Views expressed by the guests do not reflect those of the host or this show. Welcome to another episode of the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's guest, David Bacon, he's head of marketing at Worthy Wealth, specializing in alternative investments and real estate-backed income strategies, and he's here to talk about his work there. David, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here.
Briefly introduce yourself and we'll dive into the questions.
David Bacon. I have been with Worthy Wealth for about 3 years now. Love the mission that they have and the alternative investment portion of it. I've worked for big companies, Verizon, ServiceMaster, IHG, but I've found a home in alternative investments.
A lot of the audience, they're not familiar with alternative investments. What are those? What are some examples?
Alternative investments, as the name suggests, is something that is not a traditional investment, such as a stock or a bond. Alternative investments came around as a result of the Jobs Act in 2012, which made it so that retail investors have the same access to growth-oriented investing that was historically limited to accredited investors. Alternative investments include private equity, private credit. It's the tokenization of assets. If you wanted to buy a Picasso, I can't afford to buy a Picasso, but if 1,000 other people pooled our money, that's tokenization of assets. We can buy a share in something like that. We do it with residential real estate bonds, senior living facility shares.
Where does alternative investments fit into someone's portfolio?
We all grew up with a 60-40 balance guidance in our portfolios. Once alternative investments have started to take off, because they give retail investors the ability to invest in the growth stage of a company, Goldman Sachs and BlackRock are looking at ways to incorporate alternative investments into a portfolio. The conventional thinking right now is that a 60-40 portfolio is better served as a 50-30-20, with 20 being the alternative investments portion of it.
When should someone be considering alternative investments? We speak to the doctors in high income audience. They're saving, investing. At what point should they be considering alternative investments? After they're a millionaire? When should they be considering this?
Alternative investments in some form or another are available to any age, income. Our bonds are $10 each. We don't charge a management fee. Anybody can come in and invest with us. It's the appetite for risk and how that relates to return. Because alternative investments are not traded on the stock market, they're not subject to market emotions and volatility. Bonds have a limitation in the sense that it's hit or miss whether or not the bond yield is going to outpace inflation. Alternative investments gives everyone an opportunity to look at investing in companies when they are still in their growth stage. You can do so with very little upfront capital.
The beauty of the public equity markets is the liquidity. Real estate is really painful to buy, also very painful to sell. So we're assuming the alternative investments, there's a holding period. How can investors, when evaluating an alternative investment opportunity, credible and worth considering, i.e. the people they're putting their money with aren't going to run away and retire on a private island or something?
I can speak to our investments. Ours are SEC qualified investments. There's obviously oversight on these things. The way to look at this, what is the backing of that particular investment? Our investments are backed by tangible real estate. We have a 40% equity cushion on those assets. I think if I were looking at investments in this respect, it's important to understand, think worst case, what's going to happen to me? If you're concerned about that, look at how that is distributed or how that money can come back to you, or your investment can come back to you in a worst case scenario.
There's recent articles in the private credit market saying that the private credit market is in trouble. Describe to the audience what's going on there.
Just to give you an overall context where we're coming from, we're private credit too. Right now, the best way, as far as real estate is concerned, to generate alpha is to be the bank. And being the bank involves investing in private credit. In this case, we know that the bank is going to take any dollar that you invest, pay you less than 1% if you're lucky, turn around and invest that at 10 to 20 times more. Being the bank is where the lion's share of the opportunity is going to be. We take investor dollars, we inject that into bottlenecks between demand and supply that can meet demand. We're seeing that in different. Being the bank allows investor pooled money to be lent out through a management company like us. We take that money, invest it, take a portion of the proceeds and return it to our investors.
This Father's Day, do more with Dad and spend less with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Get him fired up with a new grill and accessories, like the Next Grill 5-burner for just $299, so you can spend more time together while he becomes the grill master he was always meant to be. Or build memories with savings on top brand power tools so you can tackle projects side by side. Gift more and do more together this Father's Day with help from the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Bag Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie Sleep Solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
A quick question. Are you paying more in taxes than you should? Most high-earning physicians overpay by tens of thousands because their CPA only looks backwards, not forward. Gelt is different. Dedicated CPAs powered by AI that work year-round, not just at filing time. Tax strategy and proactive planning for practice owners, investors, and physicians with complex financial lives. Built specifically for professionals who want to keep more of what they earn. To find out more, check out jointgelt.com. That's jointgelt.com. Links are in the show notes below. I noticed you talk about real estate backed income strategies. I was talking with my brother-in-law. We were talking, they say real estate is passive income, but it's not passive income. What does passive income really mean in practice beyond the marketing language?
It's easier to talk about what passive income isn't. If many of your listeners are investing in real estate right now, especially those that are looking for properties, commercial or residential, to invest in, where they end up purchasing the property, fixing and flipping it, turning it over for a profit, the active income that you get is because you've purchased a job. You have purchased an obligation to spend hours of your week managing that particular investment. That is an active investor. Passive investment, we take the investment money, we do the work, we have a yield, we have a return back on that investment. It does not supplant your ability to make money as a doctor, attorney, executive.
The biggest risk with that is the party risk is the operators and the people that you gave your money to. What should investors be thinking about when evaluating these alternative investments?
Beyond what the asset is backed by, we looked at 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every single day. We looked at $1 trillion needed in senior housing over the next 12 years to meet the demand. Why aren't suppliers coming and building all over the country? Why are you not seeing new centers coming up on every corner? The banks are getting in the way with extraordinarily high interest rate for the actual horizontal, the dirt work, water, power, sewage, the zoning, charging 50 to 100% higher interest rate. We inject capital directly into that bottleneck more competitively than the banks are. That way we can meet that demand with more supply. Otherwise, we have to raise the prices on the structures that are being built to cover the extra interest we're paying. When I look at an alternative investment, I look at the basic fundamentals. Is there a demand? Is there a supply? Are those coming together seamlessly? If not, how is alternative investment going to help that out versus the alternatives? I think this was a win-win.
You talked about baby boomers passing down their wealth. Why are investors obsessing over AI while ignoring this trend of the boomer generation?
The way that our company sees it, there is not just a senior living crisis that's happening right now, bottlenecked at investment stage and the interest rates by the banks, but both senior living and residential, that same bottleneck has downstream effects. You may be hearing about AI because it's in the news and it's a game changer, but there are fundamentals like biology. You can't buy your way out of aging. If your parents are elderly, where are they going to live? That is a rock meeting a hard place. Regardless what AI can do for you, AI is based on information that's available. We're looking at real world problems, trying to find real world solutions.
Earlier in the interview, you mentioned tokenization, which I found very interesting. You mentioned Picasso. If I wanted to own a piece of the Empire State Building, how are you in terms of another investment class?
The way tokenization works is division of the asset's worth sold into purchasable entities, a share bond or something along those lines. There are companies out there that are taking artwork, bottles of wine, paintings that they're selling shares of so that when they sell it at auction in a year, 3 years, there's a commensurate amount of investment income that comes back to the investor. We look at it as more crowdfunding. How do we take a pool of investment money, our talent at Worthy Wealth, and our understanding of where that money needs to go and pushing it into that intersection? One of the reasons I got to be part of Worthy Wealth was because everything that our investor pool does has a positive downstream effect, whether it's finding affordable housing for seniors or whether it's finding affordable starter homes. We're one of the few companies that's attacking the bottleneck in a way that's meaningful.
Is Wall Street losing its gatekeeper role?
Possibly. Historically, Wall Street has been one of only a couple of options. Today, you can go onto the App or Google Play Store and find apps for every type of investment. Blockchain alternative investments are symptomatic of the democratization, decentralization of investment. They are losing because of alternatives that are available.
When you mention terms such as blockchain, tokenization, decentralization, democratization, I assume you are an avid fan of the crypto industry. While the crypto industry has its benefits, I think a lot of people are wary. Would you consider crypto an alternative investment class?
These individual investments have, as far as diversification, higher risk. Crypto happens to be one of those where there's an enormous upside and an equally catastrophic downside. Should it belong in your portfolio? If you feel that's a good part of your portfolio, absolutely. As far as alternative investments, crypto has a place, not for everybody. That's an individual taste.
You talked about diversification. There was a talk from BlackRock. He goes around all these crypto conferences talking about Bitcoin. One thing that was really interesting was he was talking about the way the big institutions think about risk is uncorrelated. So if you look at AI these days, these AI stocks like SanDisk is like 6x, but Bitcoin is down almost 30%. It's been like for 2-3 years. Would you consider that a good thing where Bitcoin is down 40-50% and AI is 6x? Another year AI could be down 50 and Bitcoin could be up 3x. Is that how you would consider healthy risk?
That's up to the individual. There's a triangle: risk, return, liquidity. And you've got to find out what your appetite is. If I'm willing to accept more risk and a higher return, that's going to provide both risk and benefits versus more centric type of investing. Every investor is going to have to take a look at what's available, what their appetite is, what they feel comfortable from a risk and return perspective, and they're going to have to put their own portfolios together. Alternative investments like crypto can go way up and down on the chart. I think is the nature of that asset class. It's very new, very hip, one of the easiest to get into. I know 20-year-olds investing in crypto right now. It's part of a portfolio. As to what percentage of your portfolio, that's up to you.
The other question, hypothetically, do you see alternative investments like for 10 years, they're down 90%, then some pivotal moment could be a new president, new technology, and all of a sudden that alternative investment goes up 100,000x? Is that worth waiting those 10 years down?
I wouldn't characterize alternative investments as an asset class with that enormity. One of the things about the investments that we have with Worthy is that they are not correlated to the emotions of the market. If a war breaks out in the Middle East, if there's political tension, if there's a natural disaster, we're contractually continuing to build that all the way up. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but targeted realized returns have a place in your portfolio. Historically, alternative investments have added 1 to 2 percentage points to the annual return over the last 15 years. Do I see it as an asset class moving up and down like that? It's going to depend on specifically what it is, but no, not as an asset class.
Final question, what do the most successful investors do differently that average investors don't do?
Interesting question, because when we work with investors, a lot of them don't consider themselves investors. They are like, no, I want to save some money. Helping people understand that investing is a different way of saving, a different way of preparing. We are opening up the investor pool with that education.
What do the most wealthy investors do that the average investors don't do?
Wealthy investors are much more informed than a more casual investor. Having more investment dollars makes the learning curve more shallow, in the sense that you can absorb the trends more easily than others. They also look at the fundamentals that go into a specific investment. Wall Street dropping because somebody said somewhere, that's part of that market. But understanding the inherent value of something, what's the fundamentals of what makes that stock, that bond, or that alternative investment something that you're going to invest in, that's what wealthy investors do much better than just a casual investor.
How can people connect and learn more?
You can visit us at worthywealth.com. Contact us directly through there.
Thanks so much for coming on, and it was interesting conversation.
Absolutely, Chris. Happy to have been part of it.
Let's zoom out. If you're a physician, founder, or high-income professional, and you feel like you're working harder every year, but not structurally freer, you're not alone. The mistake isn't effort, it's architecture. This show exists to help you convert expertise into scalable leverage, faster and with fewer expensive missteps. Here's the diagnostic I mentioned before. If your income requires your constant presence, if your capital isn't compounding outside your profession, if your highest value talent is doing low value tasks, you don't have a growth problem, you have a leverage design problem. And if you want to fix it with clarity instead of guesswork, I offer a limited number of one-on-one leverage strategy sessions each month. We audit your income model, capital deployment, authority positioning, and structural bottlenecks, and design your highest return move. If you're serious about compressing years into months, the link to apply is below.
You can't reason with the sun. Trust us, we've tried. This summer, it's time to put that angry ball of fire on mute. Columbia's OmniShade technology is engineered to protect you from the sun's harsh rays that can burn and damage your skin. The sun is relentless, but so is our gear. Level up your summer at Columbia.com to spend more time outside and less time slathering on aloe lotion. You're welcome. Columbia, engineered for whatever.